Hello all school children and welcome to our Sunset Drive, and we got something very interesting here looking at us. We just found it on the road and I guess this is a black mamba. I could be wrong, but this is a snake, but I think this is a black mamba. They're always grayish in color and you can see how she's looking at us. Thank you very much, Castis in the final control says awesome. It's for a very long time I have not seen a snake, and especially some of the poisonous snakes like these ones here, which have very when they bite you they got a lot of poison in them, or what sometimes we call venom, but you can say simply for now just say poison. And my guess is this is a black mamba. Excuse me, and I'm trying to estimate its length. What you can see now, it has its head raised up and she's just looking at us. You notice how she blends in very well in the grass there. If you're not very careful, you can easily think it is a stick. But until I saw her wriggle and moving out of the road, that's when I noticed it was a snake. Many snakes, or all snakes, do not have ears, and for them to pick sound, they pick what we call body vibration. When they hear the ground moving, that is how they will know someone is coming close to them. So they heard the vehicle coming towards them, and the vehicle of course is shaking the ground a bit, and then the snakes are able to pick that movement, and that's how they will know there's someone so close to them. So she moved a little bit to the left and stayed where she is. She was right in the middle of the road. And there she's trying to move away from us. And snakes, most of them, will eat small animals like mice or like rats. So she can see us. Nora, very good question. You're asking what family do the snakes belong to? Snakes will say they are reptiles. Reptiles could be a simple name for you to keep, Nora. Thank you very much for your question. We'll say snakes are reptiles, like we say we human beings are mammals. Remember, I got so excited when I saw this snake that I have not seen for a long time. I forgot to tell you, please ask as many questions like Nora just asked through your teachers, and this is how we are going to educate you. And please tell me the last time you saw a snake, as it is simply trying to go in that bush and maybe trying to hide itself behind that dead trunk there.
Well, blow me down. We found the lions. Well, we didn't find them. Taxon found them about 25 leagues from where we saw them before. So they have come a very, very long way from where they were this morning. They are now south of Chitwa, which is a waterhole in the middle of Djuma. They've walked a good 3 or 4 kilometers sometime during the middle of the day. Ralph was doing his runs around quarantine clearings, didn't see anything then. It is the strangest behavior for lions, as I said, except, of course, as I mentioned, they are a long way north of their territory. This, where they are now, is pretty much the northern boundary. The road just to the south of here tends to be the northern boundary of the Styx Pride territory. So, very interesting that they've come all the way down here, and what a relief to have some lions. I think they probably were chased by elephants, you know, and that just inspired them to move a bit. What inspired them to just flop down in this particular piece of road where they are now, I just couldn't tell you. If you weren't on drive this morning, they very unkindly murdered one of our wildebeest last night. I was very pleased for our wildebeest because they'd remained unmolested by lions for so long, and thankfully it wasn't a little one, it was one of the adults. And then they finished it up. It's in their bellies now. No happy ending like there is in Red Riding Hood, for example, where the predatory wolf doesn't actually kill his prey, he just eats them up, and then they chop the prey out of the wolf's tummy. It's not like that out here, I'm afraid. The wildebeest is gone. It was devoured in short order. Anyway, here we have the Styx Pride, and it's really nice to be reacquainted with them. I mean, the last time I saw them, I think it was last year sometime. It was 2 females and it was 1 mangy cublet. Now, since then, obviously we've got all 3 adult females here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, is it 5 sub-adults? No, there are 5 cubs. 1, 2. No, there aren't. Let me count them quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 sub-adults and 3 cubs. That's too many, isn't it? No, that's right. 1, 2, 3. That's right, yeah. Yeah, 11 lions. That makes sense. 3 adults, 3 cubs, and 3 sub-adults. 5 sub-adults. Some irritation with lions occurs when they are trying to find things to eat, or they're at a kill. And if you watched this morning, I don't know if you caught them eating their wildebeest earlier this morning, but what they do is they fight with each other over the meat. So they become very irritated with each other. And then they can also get irritated if you find them on foot, for example. And if you find them on foot, they can sometimes get angry and come towards you and growl. Sometimes they get irritated and just move away. But it's anything that makes them feel fear or threat. So it's fear largely that makes them feel angry, or anything that threatens their food. And then mothers become irritated if you get too close to their babies. Just amazing. I'm really very interested that they moved down here. And, you know, we found the tracks and we thought, the evidence was very plain. They had moved from where they were. But I was unable to get over my completely prejudiced impression that they don't move in the day and that they therefore must be where they were left this morning. So it didn't matter how much evidence there was, I was unable to get over my, what they call confirmation bias, I suppose. Very interesting. And some people, of course, will be much less likely to be prone to confirmation bias. And I was completely prone to it today. Here comes one. There's a moving lion. Monique, I don't know. I haven't seen them for so long. But I suspect somebody might. That cub there, the one that's just flicking its tail, looks like a little female. And maybe that big elephant that came past chased them. No, but he would have been behind them, wouldn't he? That's a young male. That sub-adult there is a young male. The one with the sort of mangy elbow. That's him. The far end, yeah. That's a young male. I just saw him flick his tail up. Look at that little one just in front of that male. Oh, that one's just as cute, actually. That's a little female. That is the happiest lion cub in the world. Oh, that's too wonderful. Then the one to the left of it, Dave, you can see is hugging his face. Just right of that. There we go. He's got his little left paw over his face. All too corpulent to think about moving at the moment, especially after the long trudge they had down here. Donnell, yes, there is mange in this pride, and it seems to be an ongoing problem that won't go away. although they seem to be coping all right at the moment. Now, I don't know how long you've been with us, Darnell, but this pride lost, gosh, it was so long ago, I think it was 8 cubs. 8 cubs to mange. And it was introduced to the pride, we think, by the Birmingham boys. And of course, much like with any human disease, mange will take its toll far more on the young, the old and the infirm. So the little cubs, all of them, one by one, succumbed to the mange. And while it's not necessarily fatal, basically what happens is it's so itchy. It's a mite that lives in the skin. It's so itchy that all of the hair eventually gets scratched out, and there's a nasty effect of exposure, and I think eventually the skin actually gets scraped away, and the animals lose condition, and eventually they die. And they lost 8 cubs. Then they had another 3, and I think they lost 2 of those. Yes, they did. They lost 2 of those to mange. And it wouldn't surprise me if that young male that we've just shown you is one of the remaining ones from that litter. Now, I'm sorry to sound so clueless about this, but we see them so infrequently that it's very difficult to tell. Then the rest of them have definitely had bits and pieces of mange. You can see he's got the mange scars on his elbows there. But the rest of them are actually, the younger ones are looking fine. Now, eventually the body does develop an immunity to the mite. It manages to fight it off. So if you can stay alive for long enough while you've got the mite, well, you can survive. So somehow, I think this pride is surviving quite well. But they're definitely still affected. And if you look at the back foot of our favourite little female cub there, if you look at the back foot there, you can see that she's missing a bit of hair there. She's also got a mangy elbow on the front. That's it. But it doesn't seem to be really very nasty, and she's not scratching constantly. So I think actually they'll be fine. Now, I'm going to think quite carefully about mange and immunity to it, while Tyala, well, she's just driving about the place, really.
Tree. They make for the most gorgeous trees, silhouetted against the skyline. Look at that. That is so cool. Now, I have actually never been on the vehicle when we've used this wonderful device up in the sky. Isn't that amazing? Wow, you can see why James gets so excited, especially being able to look down into nests. It's not that there are any nests in that tree. And there's the road that you can see, that's sort of those 2 white lines, very faint. And you can also see how sparse the grass is on this open area. There isn't really much to eat down towards the dam, and we've chatted about this. You can imagine the vegetation around the water's edge is the first to get destroyed, whether it's being eaten or trampled, mostly trampled. And that's because of, well, of course, everybody wants to come to a watering hole. And for those of you that have only just jumped on and joined us this Sunset Safari, we are at Chitwa Chitwa. And we are admiring, well, the beautiful scene. Lots of hippos, and I think that they're going to get quite active at some point. We'll be here waiting for them to start porpoising around. I'd quite like to see that little calf that we've been seeing for the past week again. We got a glimpse of it earlier on today. Look at that. There's Chitwa Chitwa that you can see just in the distance now. Isn't that stunning? That is beautiful. So that's perfect. That is awesome. And I'm certain that every time we do put the drone up and we interact with the animals around here at a distance where they are comfortable to interact with us, they'll become more tolerant too, just as they become tolerant with the vehicles. Well, at least the birds. But that fish eagle does not seem to mind at all. And that's the one we were watching yesterday that was entertaining us so much. The one that chased the yellow-billed storks around, the one that also was doing belly flops into Chitwa Dam trying to find fish. That's amazing. And those are rocks. Those aren't hippos. Seeing as though the kids today were asking if the hippos pretend to be rocks. Yes, Kirsty, I'm sure. They're hippos. You can see the ripples in the water from the hippos. And from this height, they also don't seem to mind it too much. Just going under if they feel a little bit nervous, and that's fine. They're allowed to go under the water. They even go under the water when we get too close to them in the cars sometimes. There's another group. It's like playing Bop Goes the Weasel. Oh, there's the fish eagle taking off. Where's it going to land? Where's it going to land? It's landed right here in front of us. Right next to us, in fact. Look at that. That is so, so stunning. Now, I can't tell you the multitasking that's going on right now. Ferg is controlling the drone. He's just leveled the camera and managed to put, the camera back on the fish eagle all in one go. How is that? Look at that beautiful, beautiful colors in the sky. So there we go. Ferg is the ultimate multitasker today. He wins that award. And I can't believe it. Just goes to show how relaxed these fish eagles are. Landed right in front of the car. Didn't mind us whatsoever. Actually, it's amazing. I wish you were here on the car with me so you could see everything that was going on. Now we're back with the drone again. Yeah, you might hear a zzz. Those aren't bees. We're not being swarmed by African bees, I promise you. That's just right above my head. Wow. And the kingfisher, the fish eagle is just watching it. But it's fine. And it will bounce between these perches at the edge of the Chitwa Dam to see if it can see any fish. I can't see any fish, and it seems to be looking down now at the water's edge. It's amazing. I suppose from that height, though, as we can see, you can see a whole lot more. Now we can kind of get an idea. As those fish are swimming, some of the scales on the fish are quite sort of shimmery. Quite shimmery. There we go. I am with the fish eagle. That's so cool. And those little shimmers will be easy to see from a very, very high perch, like this, old tree that the fish eagle is sitting in. It's quite nice to sort of get that perspective. No, we need something a little bit... Yeah, maybe not circusy, because that's not what we are. We need some like classical music now being played.
What's the March of the Valkyries, or the Flash of the Valkyries?
Do you want to start humming it, and then I'll carry on? You can't think of it either. I can't think of it either. But anyways, cue beautiful music for a beautiful scene. You can see the matriarch. She's the one right up in front, the one we suspected. She's leading them all down this way. I'm going to see what they're like. I mean, we're in a big, massive, open area, so I don't think that the elephants will do too much. I mean, she doesn't look impressed. Look at the way her trunk is moving around. But remember, it is starting to get dark now. It's becoming more and more difficult for these elephants to see. They can see fairly well at night, but nowhere near that of a lion or a leopard or a predator of sorts. So they are going to just take it easy. You can see the youngsters, of course, don't care. They haven't worked this out yet. They're too young. And Francis from Israel, you've said what a swagger they all have. I suppose they are walking downhill now. That cow, I'm just watching all of them. I mean, one elephant is chasing the guinea fowl. Look at that one there. That one's chasing the guinea fowl. Go get him. That's my favorite elephant. That would be me. Everybody else has been told to walk in single file, but I've done the complete opposite. Yeah, they all come down. There's lots of them. 1, 2, 3. Let me try and see if I can count them. I'll count them quietly while you watch. I think there's like 24, 25 of them here. So it's a nice big herd of elephants. There's a little one. Go, go, go. Everyone's going to the pool party. All just streaming past us. Absolutely gorgeous. I can hear them walking too. That's amazing. And once they all walk past us, we will turn around, we'll follow them. So we've been talking about how warthogs are the preferred bottom to watch. How about 20 odd elephants? There we go, that's great. That's a fantastic angle. Now, I reckon if that was Senzo, he would have done a super zoom. In this detail. They're all getting very excited. There they go. You can just see the aerial coming into frame there, but like I said, we will reposition in a second. Yeah, I'm so glad we got what we asked for this evening, and that's all I wanted to see today, was elephants at the water's edge. Don't worry, girl, they're not going to drink all the water. There will be some left for you. How excited is she? Is she going to dive in now? Looks like it. No. Okay. Shall we reposition?
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's try a different view. Okay. He's not enormous. Come on now. This is Safari Live, not Jurassic Park. What's going on? Nice just to hear the sounds this evening. I bet you're all enjoying it. Here come, and then we're going to have extreme bossy pants. We'll ruin it for all the elephants now, this big bull. He's getting there. I mean, he's not Daryl. You can see, quite boisterous, pushing around that young cow. Very young cow, very young boy. Oh, he's showing a little bit too much interest, I think, for it to be a boy. That's lovely. I almost just don't want to say anything. I just want to watch.
It's already done.
Okay?
Kirsty's also turned the second feet off. We've already done it.
Oh, yes, Kirsty, we have turned it off. I don't have comms all of a sudden. How's that? I had communication and now I've got absolutely none. Can we? We'd love to show everybody. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay, sneaky. Oh, that's good.
There they are. Just might need to get on the radio. I'm with you and the dogs, Lex. There they are, listening. They're moving away from the lions, everyone. That's why my voice has calmed down slightly. That's a good thing. I don't want to see an interaction between wild dogs. There's another one there. Darby coming through just over there. There they come. See them there. Oh, that lovely wild dog smell. Well, it's not lovely, but it's distinctive. Okay, we're going to go to infrared, everybody, which means that we're going to lose the colour, but we'll get more light. Alrighty, we're in infrared. The smell of a wet dog permeates the air, mixed in with a delightful hint of a Land Cruiser diesel. Wonderful. Keep an eye behind us. Seem to be sort of fringing along. Yeah, they come. They're coming out onto the road in front of us now. They seem quite excited. I'm tempted. No, I'm not. Let's just stay with them. As we rush round, try and rush round in the drainage system to get past them to Twin Dams. I think they're going to go straight to Twin Dams area. Let's just stay here with them. Let me get out this way. Well, I am Brain. The problem with the lions is that, in fact, lions are a major killer of wild dogs, and we had a horrible incident last year where we watched one of the lions. In fact, it was a Styx lioness, one of those lionesses there. They killed a wild dog from one of these packs. So that was horrible. Don't want to see that again. This is a highly endangered species, and we can't have the lions knocking them off willy-nilly. Are they listening? Everybody asks why they've got such big ears. This is why. They use them extensively to communicate when they're on the hunt. You can see them completely focused there. And that glint off the eyes from our infrared light that we've got shining. Righty, let's carry on. This is marvellous. And it's not unusual for them to hunt when the moon is getting full. It's about 3/4 now. And so when it is relatively bright with the moon, they will absolutely try and hunt at this time of the night. You can see their hunting activity is extensive at the moment. One of them's gone to sleep. I've gone slightly quiet, everyone, because there are a whole lot of people sitting next to me and I'm embarrassed. There are 2 of us in the sighting. Let's see what they do. Like I say, they're moving away from the lions. The lions, in typical fat lion fashion, have not moved at all. And thankfully didn't get a whiff of the dogs. They may get a whiff of them actually. There's a slight southeast wind blowing towards them. Minamu, yes, they are to a certain extent related to wolves and coyotes, in so much as they're from the same family, but they are not. They couldn't ever interbreed with coyotes or something moving towards them. I think it's another dog. They couldn't ever interbreed with wolves and coyotes. And that's because they have slightly different, they've got slightly different chromosome setup, I think, but they are unable to interbreed. So they're from a totally different genus of the wild dogs. Just about all the other dogs, I don't know about coyotes, but certainly wolves, jackals come from the genus Canis. These guys come from Lycaon. Canned Goofy, I'm afraid that cruiser started up as your question came through. What was it?
No, I heard he went off, eh?
So there's quite a lot of vehicle activity now.
Yes, affirmative, Sally. You can make your way. We've got...
Sorry, Joy, I'm afraid there is quite a lot of talking at the moment.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout when you...
Let's have it again, Kirst, if you don't mind. Oh, absolutely, what a spectacular gift. Just a magical gift to have, Joy. I'm just going to move out the way. Not sure how everyone else is going to be viewing these things, given that I don't know how many people are blessed with night vision like we've got. Oh, the smell is strong. Did you get that? It smells like a rancid Labrador. It's been swimming in a bilharzia-infested river. I know that because I had a rancid Labrador that used to swim in a bilharzia-infested river. You see them at Waldorf? Oh, powerful smell. James Richard, it's a brilliant, brilliant sign. I don't think they're denning yet. I think the denning will happen very shortly. But you say it's a good sign that they're hanging around Djuma. It absolutely is. They could easily den here. But you know how fast they move, James. They come on and they spend 2 days, and then, a second later they are so far away that it's impossible to find them. So yes, it is positive to a certain extent. Okay, guys, we're going to pull out of the sighting. There are too many vehicles here, and then our lights being used. So we're going to leave. stations I'm pulling out of this dog sighting. And here we are back with the lions. And they are doing nothing. Well, they're sort of getting up. David said to me now, that's David the Camop as opposed to David the Kenyan. And guide and ultimate gentleman. David said, do you think they'll go home today? And I said, yes, I think they probably will. Oh, that was disgusting. As I stopped speaking, one of them let an absolute ripper go. In fact, I think it was the one lying with the cub at its base. It's really pretty foul. Just, will you home in on that elbow there, Darv? It looks like it's got a bobble there. Now, many people will tell you that that is tuberculosis. I've heard that many times. I'm just not sure. I've never read it in any kind of reliable literature. So I'm not sure if it is or not. All of the lions of the Greater Kruger National Park will, to a greater or lesser extent, have been exposed to bovine tuberculosis. And certainly when I started guiding in the year 2000, many, many years ago, it was all the rage to talk about the demise of the Kruger lion as a result of bovine tuberculosis. And I don't think that any of those predictions have come to pass in the Kruger. You see this scratching? This scratching is an indicator that the mange is still around. Yes, of course, animals scratch, but not that consistently in little patches like that. Maybe I've got mange. I scratch a lot at night. Well, NASCAR for Life, the reason they lie on the road instead of the tall grass is the same reason that you would lie on the road instead of the tall grass. There's a nice soft padding of sand here. It's not spiky, and that's why. It was nice and cool in the hot heat of the day. This is too sweet, look at that. And so the sand, it's a bit like lying on a riverbed for them. They would choose to lie on the soft riverbed sand than in the long grass, and the road's just the same. It's not a particularly hard piece of road here. And now they're cleaning off bits of wildebeest viscera that is stuck in their fur. You will never see a leopard this dirty, never. Nor will you see a cheetah this dirty. Bobby, there's no question about that. This is the only social cat in the world, other than semi-cheetah, and so definitely the lions are the most affectionate, other than my mother's house cat, who is pretty affectionate, but she turns quite vicious quite quickly, so I'm going to go with the lions. It's interesting that, ponder that a second. If lions are relatively new to you, they are the only truly social big cat. In fact, any cat, only truly social cat. Yes, there are some, there are coalitions of male cheetah, but they don't tend to behave with this level of affection to each other. Animals are still static, same place on Twin Dams Road, just south of Chelapan. I just had to give an update on the radio there. I wasn't talking to you lot. I know that you know where the lions are because you've been here with us. So the reason I say that you'll never see a leopard like that, I think, is quite interesting. The leopard will be fastidiously clean as soon as they've finished eating. And I'm convinced more and more that the reason they do it is to get rid of the smell of the innards of their prey. Whereas lions, it doesn't matter so much, because obviously they don't need to worry about hyenas smelling disgusting, sort of rotting carcass and mistaking them for a rotting carcass. But a leopard really wants to keep on the lowdown all the time. Lions will be clean by the next time they hunt again. And so, they won't make it sort of smelly for their prey. I'm hoping that these lions are going to get up and go for a walk, but they may or they may not. well, they are twitching their right front feet, as you can see there. There's still a great deal of cleaning the blood of yesterday's meal off our friends, which is very nice of them to do, especially when you think about the strength in those jaws and the sharpness of the teeth. The gentleness with which they clean each other is quite lovely to see. And this is where lions, I guess, get a huge amount of affection thrown their way by people who watch them, because they do resemble house cats. And they just look so kind of inviting and fluffy and friendly and social and gentle and relaxed. When in actual fact, of course, they are vicious killers. Donnell, it is naturally occurring, as far as I'm aware. Mange is picked up from, just nature. I don't think it was brought in by domestic animals. And you've got to be in pretty close contact to pass it on. So it's not like TB or canine distemper and that sort of thing. Well, no, canine distemper, I suppose, direct contact as well. But animals have to be in direct contact in order to catch it. So it's not like TB, for example, which, if a herd of cattle that is infected is close to a fence where some buffalo are, then they'll pick it up and then it'll spread like that. It's not airborne. But I'm 99% sure that it is naturally occurring. There are also, there are different kinds of mange, and I think, Love Three Dogs, you're absolutely right. I'll get back to my thought now. Love Three Dogs, it was transferred to this Pride by the Birminghams. That one Birmingham male had a dreadful case of it, and his whole belly was raw at one stage. I forget which one he is. It was before we named them. What was I going to say? Mange, cats, disease. Oh, there are different kinds of mange. And I suspect there are probably lots of different kinds of mites that cause the different kinds of mange. And I'm afraid, my reading of it has only extended to relatively popular articles. So I haven't delved into immunological journals, for example, which I'm afraid I'd be unable to get through on account of the dry writing. But basically, there are lots of mites around the place, and I think that's what's probably, it's not unusual for there to be different kinds of mites in different kinds of wilderness areas that cause different kinds of mange. Beautiful sounds of the barred owlet calling in the background. Now, I must just apologise for the start of our drive today when everyone was giggling inanely, me especially, David secondarily. I hope no one was too offended, especially the school children. Anyway, I think that these cats are going to cross south this evening. Maybe they'll end up at Chitwa Dam. We'll hopefully catch up with them tomorrow. Likewise, we will catch up with all of you tomorrow at 06:30. Until then, have a wonderful evening or day. Bye-bye.